Greetings, all you Jackson Jennets, and welcome to your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. We'll call this Steelers talk, and once again, I am joined by the Mutant Gingy and Laskers. All right, guys, what you seeing?
Oh, week 3 in the NFL. Lots of games out there. Donkey stuff. AFC North. Very competitive. Um, Matchup this week. Donkey didn't go the way we wanted to.
No.
Laskers, do you see anything special?
I see that the matchup definitely did not go the way that we wanted to, just like Gingy said, and I'm concerned.
Yeah, me too. Last place in the division's not a good spot to feel. Also, did anyone watch Justin Tucker kick that ball 66 effing yards?
That's just so brutal.
Bro.
So brutal.
Bro.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Like-
He is money.
Did
Whatever they
anyone-
pay him,
Hey, I
he's
know
worth
this.
it.
I know we're Steeler fans. I know this is Steelers talk, and I know he's a Raven. But my God, man!
I know you gotta give props to a 66-yarder to win the game and destroy the hearts of Lions fans everywhere.
Did anyone else see that he wants to go further this week in Denver?
I bet you he could.
Well, that's about. We can say that is the only spot he will kick a field goal farther, because if you saw that, it literally went just 66 yards. But it's Denver. He probably could get another 4. Why not try for 70, right? I mean, how? I guess you don't have to win pretty. The Steelers are kind of the definition of don't win pretty. But that game was win ugly. I mean, a heck of a pass by Lamar Jackson to, who'd he hit on the sideline there? Can't think of his name. Sammy Watkins. That was a good pass to Sammy Watkins that set it up. The referees miss a delay a game. I don't care about that. Refs miss calls all the time. Justin Tucker to hit that clutch field goal. Money. The Cleveland Browns go out there. They grab themselves another W, as they seem to be riding the ship a little bit and playing really good football. And then we get to the last AFC North matchup. We get to the Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And all I have to say is one of the quarterbacks out there looked like he only started 10 games. But guess what? It wasn't the one who's only started 10 games, which means your Pittsburgh Steelers find themselves in. It's 24-10, right? I don't even want to talk about it, but that was the score.
Yes.
Gingy, I really don't want to get into a rant before I let you guys talk, so break down what you saw for me out there this week.
Sloppy football. Donkey, not really any explosion or any push on the offense. There's a prototypical way to play this team. You play over top, make us throw underneath, cover the checkdowns. Ben Roethlisberger threw the ball 58 times. That has never, I'm not going to say never, that has not recently led to anything positive for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Only silver lining I got on offense, 100-yard receiver out of the backfield, Najee Harris, coming through, showing some good skill there.
I was waiting for Lasker to say, but it's not a receiver.
I was going to, but Gingy made sure
Hey,
I couldn't
Gingy-
say that this time.
Gingy, I hear you, but Ben did throw the ball 49 times last year in a win. I'm just saying, is 50 the break point? 50's the break point, though. If it's over 50, we're effed.
I don't. It can't be 58. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't even be over 50, Donkey. It's really got to really between 30 and 40.
His last 10 games, he averages 48 passes a game.
It's got to be between
Averages
30
48
and 40
passes a game.
Okay, 30 and 40 passes prototypical. We've got what? How many touches did Najee have on the ground? I know he had
14.
like 11 receptions. So he touched the ball like 25
14
times. 14 runs
was-
and 11 receptions. That's not. I don't like that ratio.
Actually, it's
That guy.
14 and 14.
I don't
does-
like that ratio
does his-
even better. That's not.
Does
a good
his
one.
5 drops count as him touching the football? Do his 5 drops count for touching the football? I'm just curious.
Hey, he touched it.
I'd have to look at the drops. I know that there was some questionable in there, but I don't know. Well, I mean, we already knew that the offense was shaky, Donkey. What I'm looking at is for the inability to get any pressure on that quarterback without T.J. Watt. Biggest devastator for me, 75-game sack streak. Rip.
Shout out, though, to the Steelers for that 75-game sack streak. What was it, like 1,800 days or something since the last time the Steelers didn't have a sack in a football game? So let's live that up as the positive, not the negative. I know there's a lot of negative he said, but that streak itself is just a big positive.
That streak itself is a big positive, but it's indicative to the way that defense plays football and wins games, Donkey. And without it, it's just lending itself to the atypical performance that I'm highlighting on defense this week.
What if I tell you I feel like that's not the only essentially decade streak that's going to end for the Steelers this year?
Tell me more.
All right. Laskers, I got one big question for you.
Okay.
Can you break down that 4th and 10 play? Like, what the hell, dude?
I really can't break that down. I don't understand it. It's confusing. I don't know why you even try that.
I have one question. So everybody heard Ben Roethlisberger say they designed a play to get receivers out blocking in front of Najee, and they thought a swing pass with blockers in front could get something going. Is that what we all heard him say?
Yes, that's all we heard.
Okay, I've watched that play 6 times now, and I will tell you one thing I noticed. Neither one of those receivers were looking to block anyone. Both of them were running deep slants into the end zone looking to throw the ball. Is this indicative of a team that's not cohesive, or is this indicative on Ben trying to say something to get himself out of trouble for a bad decision? Laskers to you.
I was trying to think how to answer that question because I'm not sure if you can fully blame Ben or the coaches. Did they call the wrong play and Ben was covering for the coaches?
Based off Ben's history, I would say that's not something that happens, but that is a potential. Oh, look at the interception for the Steelers going here. It was Vince Williams on the INT.
Well, hopefully that happens.
Oh, a little throwback. Makes me happy. I wanted something positive to talk about, so we'll talk about what's going on in my Madden game. Because positives aren't something we want to get into. And Laskers, I know Gingy really wants to go hard on the defense about this Bengals game, and I want to go hard at the offense about this Bengals game. Would you like to start with a discussion on the offense or the defense?
Let's go offense.
All right. So, we once again have a quarterback who, the biggest play in the game, the Steelers have a chance to come back into the game. There's 2 big plays here. We have James Washington with literally no one within 10 yards of him. So what happens? Ben doesn't even put it in his area code. Can't have that happen. Then we have a 4th and 10 play where you need to score a touchdown, and we throw a freaking screen pass, but with no blockers. Like, we can get into how bad the hands are here. I mean, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You are finally in doctrine because you proved you know how to drop a football, and that means you know how to play Pittsburgh Steeler football. Because let's be honest, over the last 2 years, that's all we can say about these guys. There's no true number 1 guy here. That shows. I mean, Claypool has the potential to be a good deep threat, as does James Washington, but there's no number 1s here. I feel like this team is soft on offense, and they're unaccountable on offense. This offensive line is terrible at blocking. Ben's not mobile, so you can't move the pocket. That means we're not going to have a running game. The passing game's going to struggle because the quarterback's on a pedestal for the pass rushers. And I think I'm starting to lean towards these coaches need to be held accountable because they're not holding players accountable. There is in no way, shape, or form. By the way, Eric Ebron just actually caught a touchdown in Madden. That's a joke.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, there's no accountability to these guys. You go out there, they have a game like that, they're protected. I mean, we had a guy spit in someone's face, and Mike Tomlin tried to play the, well, someone did something bad to him card first. Dude, my 5-year-old doesn't get away with that excuse. There is no way a grown-ass man should get away with that excuse. Mike Tomlin is losing the ability to run a locker room because he does not hold players accountable. The most influential player in the last 10 games, which is when the Steelers have collapsed, has been Ben Roethlisberger. But, Laskers, quick question. Who's the only player who gets every Wednesday off?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Why is the person who is playing the worst football out there, yes, Gingy, we'll get to Eric Ebron later, but why is the person who's playing the worst, most influential football getting days off? This is not acceptable. This is not how you win football games. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think you need to make a change, but the change isn't who you're thinking. I don't think Dewey Haskins is the answer, especially behind this offensive line. We don't need another captain checkdown. We already have that. I don't think Mason Rudolph's the answer behind this offensive line because Mason Rudolph is like the reverse Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton was really good at throwing the short passes, struggled a little bit down the field. Mason Rudolph throws the ball well down the field, but struggles with the short passes. That's not going to work on an offensive line that doesn't give you time to throw the ball. I think the answer is the only truly mobile quarterback we have, and that's Josh Dobbs. It doesn't even have to be Josh Dobbs being the permanent starter. Josh Dobbs needs packages in there where he can transform the game and give defenses something to think about. Because right now, the game plan's pretty simple. Gingy already said it. The way you beat the Steelers is you play downhill. You make them beat you over the top. They can't protect to do it. But Laskers, am I missing something on this offense? Is there a silver lining here that I'm not seeing?
No, but I might challenge your number one receiver. I think you're getting close to Najee being close to the number one. Right now, we are about 62 yards difference between Chase Claypool and Najee, and also Najee has more receptions on 2 less targets.
Well, to be fair, all of Claypool's deep targets never seem to get to him. And Najee's going to get the ball 40 times a game with Captain Checkdown Ben. Because, Gingy, I want to point out something to you. I think Ben is starting to watch for the pass rush. I think that's why that fourth down play was so quick to Najee, because he's getting off his reads really quick, because he's been hit so much this year, he's already looking for the pass rush. And I hate to say it, quarterbacks don't come back from that.
It all centers around the offensive line. Not giving him any time, Donkey.
That's fair. But my question for you here is that offensive line is not going to dramatically change because the Steelers went into the season with a bunch of projects. They went in knowing they were going to start Chuck Okorafor, who was terrible last year. They knew they were going to start Kelvin Dodson, who was at best mediocre last year, showed good signs, but showed really bad signs. They went into the year with Kendrick Green, who everyone said was undersized and was a project to become a starter. They came in with Dan Moore, who the best projections say he was going to be a backup swing tackle. They came in with Trey Turner, who graded out as one of the 3 worst guards last year because he played like trash. They knew this line was going to be bad. If they knew this line was going to be bad, why did they reinvest all their money into other spots like fancy little Juju Smith-Schusters, keeping Derek Watt, keeping Eric Ebron? Why'd you keep the tools? Like, why are you keeping the nice tires on the car when you completely forgot to put in an engine?
That's a good point, Donkey. I agree with that completely.
So then my question becomes, and I'm not saying this because I actually do think in a perfect environment, Ben Roethlisberger probably, because of his base of knowledge, is probably the best quarterback for this team. But let's be honest, this isn't a perfect environment. When do you have to consider moving on from Ben?
I was going to let
Donkey.
Gingy answer that.
I was gonna say, Donkey. I'm honestly thinking that I don't know. It's not. I can't say that it's Ben's fault that they're not performing on offense. I just don't. It's not entire. It's a team effort there. I don't think Ben's specifically Ben's play is what's contributing to these losses. Yes, it is, but his play is contributed to by the inability to provide any run block, any pass block.
I've said this to my wife, and she understood right away. I think the Steelers' offensive problems, the biggest problem is Ben Roethlisberger, but Ben Roethlisberger is not what made the problem, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I think the Steelers coming in with an immobile quarterback who you need to give time to, because if you don't, his whole career when he gets pressured, he makes bad decisions. That's been his whole career. We went in knowing he was going to get pressured this year. We didn't do anything to fix it. Instead of trying to give him a decent offensive line, we went with a bunch of nobodies. And it's biting us in the butt right now. I think the Steelers' best way going forward is to put in a quarterback who can move a little bit, can keep the defense honest, and this is what it's going to be. They have to win ugly. We're not going to shoot out a team. We're not going to put up 40 points like the Cowboys, the Packers, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Rams. We're not going to be that team. We're going to be a team that has to win ugly. So my question then is, and Minka's about to score a pick 6 here, I know you want to get to the defense, and I think winning ugly starts with the defense performing. Gingy, let's talk about the defense on last week.
One of the things that I was looking forward to coming back, Devin Bush didn't even make an appearance.
I'm going to tell you this again. ACLs takes 18 months to be healthy. Do not judge him off this season. The Steelers should have never expected him to come back and be better than he was last year, but that's what they did. That's, again, bad moves by the front office. I'm not going to blame Bush because he's not going to be healthy till next year. But I hear you. His play has been subpar, no doubt.
He didn't show up at all last week. Didn't make a difference. That's secondary. Donkey Joe Burrow had a field day. Made him look really, really good. When I know that you're saying he's so much better than Ben Roethlisberger, and you know what? Maybe at times he is, but in terms of just overall experience, I'd have to disagree with you there. But you know what I'm saying. But overall, they made him look better than Ben Roethlisberger this week. James Pierre getting spun around like turnstiles, watching the ball fly over his head on a regular basis.
Once again, he is the player that shall not be named on this podcast because F that guy, and I've said that a million times. I am so glad that he is better than Steven Nelson, by the way, because that's what I was told. I was told how good he was and how he's better than Steven Nelson. I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah, I don't think. I wouldn't hold your breath.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't hold your breath.
Now, Gingy, there's some other parts on that defense I'd like to talk about.
Okay, all right.
Mainly, did you see that awesome push him into the end zone attempt at a tackle by Melvin Ingram on Tyler Boyd?
Yeah, got wrecked.
When did this whole team start tackling like Minkah Fitzpatrick?
That is a good question. I don't think Minkah Fitzpatrick should tackle like Minkah Fitzpatrick does either.
Jameer Jones played so good he's now on the Los Angeles Rams. Another guy who I was hyped up and told how good he's going to be. He was so good he played himself off the team when he actually saw the field.
Wow. There's lots to look at. Wow. It was bad, Donkey. It was bad all around.
Your boy Joe Hayden, he's slow. I don't know how else to say it. Every time he was put on either Tyler Boyd or, what's his name? The dude who had 4 touchdowns in 3 weeks that everyone was hating on. Jamar Chase. Every time he was put on them, they got open. Like, that's a problem, right?
That is a problem. Not good.
Well, let's end this. Gingy, do you have a positive note for the defense? Because I actually have 2. But I'd like to see if you got one first.
My positive for the week, Terrell Edmonds. Hanging in there.
T-Boogie, baby.
Hanging in there. Had a pick. Played well. Played well in a contract season.
Hey, anybody remember what I said was going to be the positive outlook of this Steelers season? T-Boogie plays so good he earns another contract. He's well on his way so far.
I agree.
I agree with you. That was one of my 2 positives. Was that your only positive from it?
Yep, that's about it, Donkey, for me. What do you got?
Laskers? We got Laskers. You got a positive first?
I really don't.
All right. I got one more, and hear me out. I think Isaiah Buggs played really, really well replacing Tyson Alualu. I think he's a guy who doesn't get mentioned much, but I feel like he was doing a good job clogging up the middle there.
Really well. Well enough to let Mixon rip off a 27-yarder, average 5 yards a carry.
All right, well, he can't cover both the middle and the edges. I'm
true.
sorry, he's not that good. Let's be honest, our edge players look bad when TJ Watt's not there. I know everyone was telling us how great Ingram looked, but did you see how bad Ingram looked when the defense wasn't just shifting all their blocking to TJ Watt? It was the only play Ingram and Jameer Jones made was they made a hell of a tackle on each other in the backfield. Let's give them props there, dude. They both show good form and they both rode it to the ground.
Oof.
Only problem is Joe Burrow was going the other way.
Hey, at least they tackled something.
Literally was Jameer Jones' only tackle last year. He did not register a tackle in that game. You could look it up to verify, but I'm like 80% sure he didn't register a tackle in that game. At least on defense. He might have got a special teamers, who knows. But Gingy, that brings us to it. Okay, so things are bad, things are gloomy. Let's be honest, the Steelers haven't scored an offensive touchdown in 9 straight games. No, an offense, they haven't scored a point in the first quarter in 9 straight games. Right?
Oof. Yeah.
How do we fix that?
Run the ball.
You say that, but we average less than 3 yards a carry. Not really. It's less than 4, but it's not it's barely above 3 yards a carry.
We gotta make it work. That's how it works. That's how it's gonna work. I know we can't, not with the personnel we have on the offensive line, but that's my answer.
Donkey,
I
you're
also
not off
have a-
by much. It's 3.2 yards.
Jesus Christ.
And that includes, if it wasn't for the one or the two,
The Chase Claypool 25-yarder?
yeah, it would be right around 2.9 probably.
It's not good. I'm not going to call the season off. We still do have the ability, once TJ gets back, that we can win ugly games like we did in Buffalo. Muddy the game up, don't turn the ball over, win. But at this point, I'm not sure you can trust Ben Roethlisberger to not turn the ball over. I mean, he has 13 interceptions in his last 10 games. He only has 2 games where he didn't throw an interception, which ironically were the only 2 games where Ben Roethlisberger beat another starting quarterback who was not a backup. Out of his 4 wins, only 2 came against non-backups. That was Indy and Buffalo, and those are the 2 games he didn't throw an interception. So you're talking a gunslinger like Ben has to play perfect football. The defense has to cause turnovers, and more importantly, score points. That looks like the way the Steelers win. Is this team capable of it?
I think they are with TJ Watt.
I think it's going to come down to, can the defense get enough points on the board. I don't think we can depend on Ben and the running game to get the points that we need.
So Gingy, Laskers, I have an honest question. Should we go back to 2019 football where even though everyone knew we were running the ball, we still run the ball 30 times a game and only throw it 20 times a game? Is that our best chance at winning?
Yep.
Like Duck
100%.
Hodgins football?
Yep.
Are we really saying we're advocating for Duck Hodges football?
Yes, but we need someone else besides Najee to run the ball because right now there are 10 other attempts besides the 40 attempts that Najee has.
He is averaging he started with 100% of the running back snaps. Luckily, the last 2 weeks he's down to only about 95% of the running back snaps, so that's good. My concerning news here is there have been 4 scenarios where the Steelers have won only one of their first 3 games, where the records were. In 2006, they started 1-2, they go 8-8. In 2009, they start 1-2, they go 9-7. They go 2012, they start 1-2, they go 8-8. 2018, they start 1-1-1, they go 9-6-1. The common component is they missed the playoffs every one of those years. Years where they didn't win a game, like in 13 and 19, they won 8-8 both those times and missed the playoffs. So you're talking when the Steelers win 1 game or less, they missed the playoffs in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive seasons. You have to go all the way back to 2002, coached by Bill Cowher, when the Pittsburgh Steelers team went 1-2 and made the playoffs. But I'm going to say there's a bright side here. Did you guys notice the records on all those teams that won 1 game or less? There's something really fun about it. They didn't have a losing season.
Yeah.
There is hope, Steelers fans. It's not doom and gloom. 1-2 tends to mean the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go 8-8. The question is, how do we go 8-8 in a season when there's 17 games? Laskers, get creative here. Are we getting the first COVID cancellation? Is that how we go 8-8?
Nope, we go 8-8-1.
Hey, that's not fair. That was my actual season prediction. You could go back like 8 podcasts and get how I got there.
Nice.
So we're tying the
okay.
Browns a game. Okay, sounds good to me.
The Browns. Is that who I tied us with?
I don't know. I
thought
don't remember.
tied the Bengals. I thought it was the Bungles. I thought it was this week against them or last week. Okay, well, we talked about the past. We talked about what we thought we have to do in the future. So let's talk about the future. This week, we are going to Lambeau to play the storied Green Bay Packers. And honestly, the last memory I have of Roethlisberger Rodgers is Ben throwing this ugly interception that lost us the biggest game of the year.
Devastating.
Yeah.
These teams have grown a lot since then. Both of them are very, very different than they were there. Gingy, what'd you see this week? What's going on with the Packers? What are we looking at?
They got a couple people on the injury report. Valquez Scantling fell over there. That's going to be
super good deep threat.
Yeah,
speedy guy.
Really
that's
going to help us. But we really need to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers and disrupt his game.
And TJ has been full participant the last 2 days in practice, correct? So looking good for both him and Alex Highsmith to be back?
Let's hope so.
I think there's also a chance for
Laskers,
Zach Banner to come back. I'm not 100% sure on that. I know he's back at practice.
I saw that they haven't activated him from the IR, and I think you have to do it by a certain day. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
I think
I'm wrong
so.
on
I
that.
think you have to do it by today.
Okay. So, yeah, there's a possibility Banner coming back. Hopefully, because Chuck Okorafor isn't there, which I guess means you're going to start Joe Haig. But let's be honest, is Joe Haig worse than Chuck Okorafor?
I think it's close.
Know who Joe Haig is?
Yeah, I do. We picked Tampa Bay. We picked him up. Like I said, that's neck and neck.
Yeah, you're
donkey.
right. That is how we picked him up. Oh, God. Yeah, but all right, so let's look at this Green Bay team. You look at their offense. I guess you could say their weakness is they allow pressure. I believe that's how they got blown out in the first week was they allowed a lot of pressure. And if my game here is predicting right, Minka's going to have a hell of a day. He has a pick 6 already, and he just got his second interception. So maybe we see a Minka show this week. According to Madden, that's what you're going to see. That'd be a huge help for the win, right?
I'd like to see that. Heck yeah, donkey. That's how it's going to get done. That's what I said. Splash plays. Maybe another splash play on the special teams. I'd like to see Ray take one. That'd be really fortunate this week. Come on, donkey.
Dude, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I was super excited about Ray McCloud his first 4 games, but he has done literally nothing in the past 12 games as a kick returner. I have lost, the hope of Ray McCloud doing anything. I don't know why, but you say Ray and I just get sad. And then last week, I think he had a 20-yard catch or something on offense. I think he actually did something really positive, but I just saw Ray and I was like, ugh. He also fumbled a ball over the middle, which, way to get his helmet ripped off and get that ball back. I was impressed by that, but I don't know why. Just saying Ray's name makes me sad. And you look at that Green Bay's defense, I mean, they're a very Jekyll and Hyde unit on defense, but if they show up, it's going to be a long day for Ben. They have the ability to have the pass rushers who can go in there and hit the quarterback, but they also have games where they just don't show up. I'm not sure this is a week Najee gets the wheels going. Maybe. I know you want to see him get all the carries, but let's be honest, dude. I think Barry Sanders would be pissed at how bad this offensive line is.
Give him the carries, Donkey. Let's see it.
I think it's
believe
going
it
to
when
come
I
down
see
to
it.
that. Here's the
Keep
loss.
the ball out of Ben's hands.
Here's the loss for the Green Bay Packers. The Saints had 151 passing yards, 171 rushing yards.
Yeah, but Jameis threw 5 touchdowns. Don't quit on that stat. There was a lot of turnovers by that Saints defense. And by the way, if you've watched the New Orleans Saints play this year, that defense is for real. My God, are they good?
It was 2 interceptions thrown and 1 fumble lost. And the biggest thing that the Steelers need to do is they sacked Rodgers twice.
Pressure,
we need to
definitely.
double
That's where it
that.
all starts here
We
in
need to
Pittsburgh.
double that number for sure.
Yeah, I
We
agree.
Make this a
need
reality.
TJ. We need TJ to be the game wrecker he was against Josh Allen, and we need Aaron Rodgers to miss open receivers the way Josh Allen did. If we can make this game ugly, I think we can keep it close. I think we can play good. But I'm gonna be honest here. I'm a little scared of what Aaron Jones is gonna do against us. We're a little hurt up front. Alu's out. Let's be honest, neither one of those middle linebackers look good. Say what you want, Highsmith and Watt, their forte is not stopping the run, either one of them. I'm a little nervous about Green Bay just realizing that and just trying to run the ball down the Steelers' throat. How do we make sure Aaron Jones is not the difference maker in this game?
That's a
By
good
getting
question.
pressure on the quarterback in the backfield, and it'll do the same on the running game.
Cam Hayward needs to have a big day clogging up the middle.
That's fair. That's fair. On offense, how does let's be honest, how do we right the ship? Because the ship has not been well since like week 11 in Jacksonville in 2020. Like, how does this team right the ship? We'll start against the Packers because that's who we're playing, so that's who we'll have to right it against.
Honestly, I think we need a big breakout play. Somebody like Chase Claypool or Juju Smith-Schuster needs to catch up 50 or 60 yarder. Bust this thing wide open. Make those defenses play the run, play the beat ball. If we get one of those, that really turns into something significant. People have to account for it. It changes the way we can play.
Gingy, can Roethlisberger throw the ball 50 yards down the field?
No, but he can throw it
No.
35, and Claypool
Okay.
can run for another 25.
No, not in the same zip code as a receiver. If you've watched the last 3 weeks, he has missed that 35-yard throw every week, and every week it's been a big problem.
Yeah, but
Missed it to
sometimes
Claypool,
Donkey
he's
is
missed it
getting
to James
overthrown,
Washington.
so it's not like he can't get it there. Just
His
saying.
arm, I'm not saying he doesn't have the strength to throw the ball 40 yards down the field. I'm saying he doesn't have the arm talent to do it accurately anymore.
He doesn't
Like,
know
if
to do
he
it.
hits one, it's
It's the
more like a blind
consistency.
squirrel finding a nut than an actual expected thing.
Wow.
I think it's the consistency. That's his biggest issue right now.
I have an honest question. Say the Steelers are down 7 points at halftime, and the problem is the dink and dunk isn't working. Do you consider trying to spark the team?
I think you
I
have
do.
to.
I do. At 1 and 2, we're getting pivotal in a strong division in a strong AFC. We're getting pivotal
The
at this
Bengals
point.
just racked up win number 3
Yep.
on fake football night.
Everybody's a full game ahead of us already. I don't want it to look like 2.
Is this the game it gets righted? Let's get into predictions. It seems like we covered it pretty well. Before we get into that, guys, I feel we covered it pretty well. Is there anything you guys want to throw in as a final moment of what you see in this game, what you've seen from last week?
I'm good, Donkey. I'm ready to make a prediction. Laskers?
I'm good as well. I mean, it's going to come down to, can the defense do what they need to do?
All right, then. Let's get into predictions. Gingy, you're the original co-host. We'll start with you.
Donkey, looking at the Steelers again, not expecting another high-scoring game. I don't think I've picked them to score any more than 24 points thus far this season. I don't see that again this week, but I do see a tight Steelers win in Lambeau, 20-17.
I love the confidence. Laskers.
My prediction for the week is it's going to be close. I think it's going to be 17-14. Steelers coming away with the victory based off of a lot of defensive effort.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Every time I predict a game, it goes the opposite. So, you know what? I have zero faith the Steelers win this game. I have zero faith it's close. I think it's a double up 34-17 Green Bay Packer annihilation.
Oof.
I think it's the game where even the Ben supporters start to say, maybe we shouldn't have brought him back. I honestly feel that's what's going to happen. I feel you have Aaron Rodgers pissed off. And you say what you want. After people called him out in week 1, Aaron Rodgers has looked like a different dude. I don't want to play that guy. That's the guy we're playing this week.
I know.
Makes me nervous.
Makes me nervous too. We got to get pressure on him. Come on, TJ.
Honest here. I think the defense sets up both of our touchdown scores with turnovers, and I still think it's just an utter annihilation of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I look at the rosters. I don't see a spot outside of outside linebacker where the Steelers have an advantage if you want to compare position groups. I mean, it is what it is. On paper, the Packers are better. Watching film outside of the Saints game, the Packers have been better. And let's be honest, one of these teams is trending up and one of these teams is trending down, and I don't see that trend stopping this week.
Dang.
Well, anyway, now that I brought doom and gloom to the happy, hey, if anyone's judging here, all I'm saying is Donk Nation is predicting the Steelers win at 66% clip. So let's take the positive. Let's get to shout-outs, though. Laskers, lead us off.
My shout-out's going to be let's get some good defense going, and hopefully that'll be enough to get the game won.
Ginger.
Terrell Edmonds wanting to make that money. Let's keep it up. If you want that money, boy, let's get another one this week, all right? I'm not a big fan of that whole defensive run down to the end zone, do your little pose thing deal. But you know what? If he gets another one, go ahead and do it, my man. That's what I'm talking about. That's all right with me, if it's you, buddy. Get it done. Shout out Terrell Edmonds for holding it together.
Genji with the I'm old, stay off my lawn moment.
Get at it, donkey. Winners get to do that. Winners get to do that, donkey.
Hey,
all right,
when he did that, he was setting us up. I think we were winning.
Do it and win.
He was setting us up to start winning. I hear you. My shout out is to every Pittsburgh Steeler involved in 75 straight games with a sack. Also, ending on 75, I'm just saying, not a terrible number in Steeler history to end something on if you're considering Steeler past players. So, my shout outs to anyone involved in that. And anytime someone sets a record, like I did last week for Boswell, you know I'm going to give him a shout out. Najee Harris set the rookie record for Steeler receptions in a football game. Congratulations, young man. Keep up all the good. And let's start it off with your first 100-yard rushing game, maybe? I don't know. That would be something cool to add to it.
Come on, Najee.
Anyway, so that brings us to the end of things here. As always, you know you can reach me on Xbox at Viking Donkey, Twitch and Twitter at Viking_Donkey. If you're listening to this, odds are you're catching it at your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger, the YouTube channel. Leave us a comment there. I'm going to start writing parts to go to Behind the Steel Curtain in the fan post section. I don't know if I'm going to start this week or next week. We'll see how tomorrow goes for me. If you reach us there, leave a comment there and come watch the show if you really want to. I'll be doing Madden in the background, so at least you get football instead of Fallout now. And then we'll go to Laskers to tell you where you can reach him if he wants to be reached. And then we'll go to Gingy, who will sign us off.
Laskers everywhere. And also, I think Gingy has to go tell some kids to get off his lawn.
Get off my lawn, cheeseheads. Mutant Gingy, Xbox Live. We're rocking it, baby. Steelers a little down this week. We need to bring us back a victory. Bring us to 500. Wave them if you got them. Let's go.